60, 70,000 for that outfit?
Actually, this is a J.Crew ensemble.
Really? Wow.
J.Crew at one point in time represented the quintessential look for the American dream. The brand portrayed a classic, preppy American style interpreted through an elevated yet approachable chic lens. Despite growing to be one of the most beloved brands in America, J.Crew seemingly lost its footing along the way. Throughout much of the mid to late 2010s, J.Crew's brand relevancy continued to decline. In addition to questions surrounding the quality of J.Crew's products, many of the brand's core followers began to feel forgotten as the brand attempted to reinvent itself as a means to stay relevant with the changing trends. J.Crew found themselves in a position where they no longer connected with their more conservative-leaning demographic who shopped the brand for quality prep-inspired basics, while also missing the mark with the new generation of cool streetwear adjacent fashion consumers as well. The last several years, J.Crew has sort of existed in no man's land, maintaining an image that is irrelevant to the cool kids and unrelatable to the normies. That is until the 2021 hire of ex-Supreme creative director, Noah co-founder, and all-around creative titan, Brendon Babenzien. Brendon's resume, of course, speaks for itself, but the question on most people's mind is, what does his involvement mean for a mall brand that's on the brink of extinction? In today's video, I'm going to be showing off a couple of new pickups that I got recently from J.Crew, and I want to take a couple of minutes just to kind of talk with you guys about like my sort of thoughts and opinions on what I think about this new iteration of the brand J.Crew. Before we get too far into the video, I do want to take a quick second to introduce myself. My name is Corbin. I make fashion and lifestyle related videos here on YouTube, so if you are into that sort of a thing, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. Also, if you do enjoy the video, please do consider dropping a like and a comment as well. But without any further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into this one. All right, so before I jump into the actual pickups of today's video, I do just want to give the quick caveat and say that for whatever reason, I have this very strange nostalgic tie to the brand J.Crew. When I was a little bit younger in my earlier high school years, J.Crew was a brand that I shopped super heavily when I was just getting into fashion and I was just sort of finding my footing of what my own personal style was. Obviously, J.Crew is super accessible. Pretty sure there's a J.Crew in every mall across America. Plus the price point was relatively affordable for whatever summer job that I had at the moment. Plus I feel the clothes were a little bit chicer than what some of my contemporaries were wearing at the moment, whether that be a Abercrombie and Fitch, a Hollister, American Eagle, etc., etc. So for what it's worth, I feel I am slightly biased and have always wanted to see the brand J.Crew succeed. So with that said, let's go ahead and just jump right into the first pickup. The first item that I have to show off to you guys is this black knit sweater. This sweater is made out of 100% cotton and it features a really nice thick ribbed neckline and it's pretty much the perfect weight as well. This sweater is super freaking wearable. I think I've had this for maybe 4 weeks now and I've worn it maybe 6 or 7 times already. That's because it pretty much goes with everything. I think this sweater is super versatile. I think that an item like this is something that really every dude should have in their wardrobe. It's super classic, timeless, and will never go out of style. You can wear this in pretty much any context and you'll pretty much never be out of place. Besides that, I don't really have much else to say about this sweater just because it's super basic, but I'm definitely really digging this at the moment and I'm probably gonna pick up another one real soon. So let's go ahead and move on into the next piece. The next sweater that I have to show off to you guys is this cardigan sweater. This sweater is made out of 100% wool and I got it in a size medium. I really love the color of this cardigan. It's not quite brown, but also not quite yellow either. I feel I'd probably consider this to be a butterscotch sort of a color. Also, I really love the texture of this cardigan as well. It's super soft and comfy and it's not really itchy at all either, which I feel is sometimes an issue that you can run into when dealing with wool sweaters. What initially drew me to this cardigan was that it reminded me a little bit of a cardigan that Supreme had done a couple of years ago. I want to say that the Supreme sweater was more of a burnt orange copper kind of a color, but Something about like the texture and tonality of it definitely kind of put me in the mind of the Supreme one. Like I was sort of saying with the last item I was showing, this cardigan is also like super wearable. I feel like in the day and age of every brand trying to do a crazy print mohair cardigan, it's really nice having a more toned down, basic tonal kind of a cardigan that I can wear with just pretty much any outfit and be good to go. With this cardigan, I feel like I could sort of wear it with sweatpants and loafers and have a swaggy grocery store outfit just as easily as I could wear it with a pair of trainers and chinos. It's just like super wearable, like I said. I feel like this will be a really nice, solid go-to and dependable piece for me through really the rest of the winter, and definitely a staple in the spring as well. So definitely super excited to get a lot of wear out of this throughout the rest of the year and into the future. So with that said, let's go ahead and just get right into the next piece. The final J.Crew pickup that I have to show off to you guys is this cardigan sweater. This cardigan is made out of a wool blend, and it is in a really nice sort of brown stripy kind of a color. I'm not sure if the camera is going to pick it up from here, but there's some really nice undertones to the color as well. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but there's like some greens, some reds, some like purples, and overall I feel like it just really adds to the overall appearance of the piece. I actually didn't really go into the store with the intention of picking this up, but just as I was getting ready to check out, this sweater did catch me by surprise. I decided to try it on and it fit me nicely, so I ended up just picking it up. If you're like me and you live in a cold weather climate, I really feel like you really can just never have too many knit sweaters. So figured that this would be a good acquisition. I've worn this a couple times and I've already gotten a couple of compliments on it. So I'm really excited about this. I don't really own any other sweaters that are this sort of like color or vibe. I feel like this was another nice pickup, and overall I'm like pretty happy with all the pickups that I got from my little J.Crew trip. With that said, that's the end of the pickups. Let's move into more of like the discussion portion of the video. Getting right into the discussion portion of the video, I think first things first, when we talk about this new iteration of J.Crew, I think that it's so important to consider the actual context of the brand and consider who the actual J.Crew customer is in the first place. Regardless of who is at the creative director position at J.Crew or who is leading design there, I think you need to consider the fact that J.Crew is always going to be a mall brand at the end of the day. For as long as Brendon is at the position of creative director, he is always going to have to report to a board of shareholders whose only interest in this business is to turn a profit quarter over quarter. So when we talk about J.Crew, I think we really need to approach it with some kind of managed expectation. If you go into this looking for your mind to get blown, you're gonna come out very disappointed, let me tell you. I think ideal state scenario for J.Crew is just good products that are easily accessible. And that's it, you know. It's never going to be this thing that is more than that. So I did just want to kind of get that out of the way and say that, because I feel like some people come into this with like the wrong state of mind. Like, I just don't want to be this like super fussy guy that is approaching J.Crew, the mall brand, from the vantage point of like a higher end brand. With that said, getting into like some of the things that I've really enjoyed about this new iteration of J.Crew. Since Brendon has taken over as creative director of J.Crew, one thing that I've noticed is that there seems to be an increased emphasis on unique branded content and editorial. Whether it's like an Instagram post or like a devoted featured article on the website, there's been some really cool pieces of just styling unique people within the creative industry, whether that be like musicians or artists or people in or around fashion. I think that all of that kind of content has been really compelling for me, at least what I've seen so far. Also, I definitely want to touch on the fall lookbook as well. I think that the fall lookbook was pretty strong, again, for what it is. I think that it was really smart of them to really kind of play back into that heritage aspect of the brand that J.Crew is so well known for in the first place. All of the photos there, I think, looked really good and really strong. and it showed the product off in a really good manner, I think. The one sort of issue that I have with this new J.Crew is the price point. I don't know if it's just because it's been so long since I've shopped J.Crew, but I don't ever remember their products being this expensive. All of the pickups that I showed you guys earlier today, I picked up during like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, so it was 50% off, so like that wasn't too bad, but like actual retail prices for some of those products, like I just like I don't see it. And this is sort of coming from a guy that like spends way too much money on clothes. I am not afraid to invest in like higher ticketed pieces, but you know, I just don't think that a consumer such as myself is gonna go into J.Crew looking to, you know, like invest in serious pieces like that. Like I was saying before, that sort of ideal state scenario for J.Crew is just good quality products that are easily accessible and are available at like a decent price point. In my personal opinion, I think that J.Crew really needs to be more so in like the Uniqlo ballpark of pricing. I think the two cardigans I got, both of them retail were like $150, $160, which like, you know, I just don't necessarily see that. If I'm going to spend that much money on a cardigan, I'd rather just spend a little bit more and get something from like Beams Plus, or I don't know, get like some used Our Legacy off of Grailed or something like that. Like I'm not going to go into J.Crew to spend that much money. But then again, like that's just my 2 cents. Maybe you guys feel differently. And if you do, definitely sound off in the comments and let me know what you think. But with that said, that's sort of my overall thoughts on this new iteration of J.Crew. I think definitely this is a step in the right direction for them. Clearly there is more conversation and discourse around the brand right now than there has been in at least a decade for sure. So obviously like that's really good for them. In terms of where does the brand go from here, I really don't know. I'm very curious to see what Brendon Babenzien's tenure will look like at J.Crew. How long will he be at the brand, and what will his impact actually be there? I think all of that is sort of like to be determined, to be honest. Again, going back to like the actual J.Crew customer, the one thing that like I sort of fear is that I don't think the actual J.Crew customer really gives a about Brendon Babenzien. I think that they probably don't even know who he is or have any sort of frame of reference for his previous work. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what his tenure looks like at the brand for sure. That's just gonna about do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what your guys' thoughts are on the new J.Crew. Have you had a chance to go into a store and check out any of the products in hand? Have you purchased anything? Definitely just let me know. I'm really curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this one. So with that said, I hope that you have an amazing day, and I will see you real soon in the next one. Peace.